Mm, yeah, I'm live here. So, am I audible and visible? If people can tell me here. This is from the group Parent to Parent. Okay. So, is there anyone who can just give me a thumbs up so that we can start? Uh, yes, I think I see people now. Mm, great. So, Anju, if you are there, can you just come on the screen? Can you just wave? Yeah, I can see Anju here. Okay. Anju, I waved you. Yes, I can see you. You are here. I'm just trying to add you on the screen. So just waiting. I can see add a tab in front of so many names, but not in front of your name. Just trying to figure out what it is. I just invited you. Um, I've invited Anju Kish on the screen. I'm just waiting for an invitation so that she can accept it and come on the screen with us. Yes, yeah, I'm audible now. I can see that. People are giving thumbs up. So just waiting for Anju to be on the screen so that we can start our session. You just have to bear with us for a while because there are a few technical glitches going on. Anju, if you can message or say something, um, maybe in the chat itself, so that I'll come to know whether you have received the invite or not. Yeah, the invitation has already been sent. Okay, so please bear with us for a while. Hi, Rekha. Okay, Anju is saying that she haven't received the invite to share the screen. I'll send it again. The invite has already been sent, Anju, so I think there is some problem in the net or somewhere. So, Anju, it's a request to you. Can you come live from our page? We can try that thing out, if that's okay with you. You can come to the page of group of Parent to Parent, and from there you can go live. I will accept the request of going live, and then you can go on. Okay. So today's topic is about break the wall of silence, a talk about sex education. We have Anju Kish with us. She is a sexuality educator. I got invited to see your video, but to share screen. Yes, it's about the sharing. It's about sharing the screen. Mm. Yeah, Anju, I got it. You're saying I got an invite to see your video, but to share screen, that's okay. So what you can do is you can come to the group and you will see live video there. You just go and tap that tab, and maybe we can have you live there. Or if anyone here can guide us how to share the screen, because I can't share the screen with Anju right now, and unless and until we are not doing that, session will not be able to happen. Can anyone guide us here? Parveen, can you help us here? Yeah, please Anju, do try, because I've just given in. Parveen is on the screen. Yeah, hi Parveen.
Yeah, hi Jyoti. So there
Yeah,
is a just below the comment, there is on the
yeah,
right side there is a white circle with two share button,
yeah.
like double
I
sharing.
Yes, I've given
Yeah,
that invite to Anju. I think she's not been
yeah,
able to get that thing. Maybe
yeah.
she's
So
asked
this,
for some time.
yeah.
She's trying. She
So
said
Anju,
that
this,
she's trying,
yeah. Okay. See ya.
right?
Have fun.
See ya. Yes, stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Anju, I think everything is working perfect. So if you can just try a little more from a different, uh, you know, hopefully we can cut this out. Hello to Kunshit, Manisha. I don't think you can share. Yeah, Manisha, we can share the screen. I just did with Parveen. Hi Shiba. Hi Riddhi. Hi Sushma, Jasmeet, Neeta, Anchal, Ravneet, Anjali. Thank you so much, everyone, for waiting for this entire session to begin. I think Anju needs little bit more time. Thanks, Manisha. Anju, just let me know if things are going okay. Otherwise, you can come from the video, from the live uh, P2P group. Hi, Roshni. Hi, Akshat. So it's going to be a very different and good session for our parent-to-parent group, because it's all about parenting your kids regarding a different aspect altogether, and that is related to sex education, which is a taboo. So Anjukish has a company by the name of Untaboo Education. We will be talking about the entire topic in a different way. Yeah. So Anju, if you can let me know, is it going good? Are you been able to get the screen? Still waiting. So when the session is on, you can post in your questions here related to this particular topic. And it would be nice if you can put in the age of your kid, how old they are, so that we can maneuver the questions as per their age. Hi, Shweta. Okay, that's nice. Now going to have Anju with us very soon in few seconds. Anju, I've sent you the invite. Yeah, she's coming. Varsha, not exactly, but this is not a conversation. Hi, Anju. Welcome.
Finally,
Finally.
finally, thank you.
Yeah. Thank
I
you
think it
so
worked
much.
from my phone. My laptop was not allowing me to join.
Oh, okay, okay, that's fine. We are so happy to have you with us here. Though it took some time, but
Thank
that's
you.
okay.
Very happy to be
That's worth
here.
to wait actually.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we have a lot of people here who have already started, asking questions. So we will jump to those
Okay.
questions. To start with,
Sure.
let me introduce you all to Anju. She is Anju Kish, a double graduate in law and mass communication, an award-winning sexuality educator, a TEDx speaker and author, a blog and columnist, producer of the only play on puberty and safety in India, a stand-up comic, all of this in the space of sexuality and safety education. Her book on sex education for children, How I Got My Belly Button, bagged FICCI's Best Children's Book Special Jury Award this year. Congratulations for that, Anju.
Thank you.
She is a true change maker and entrepreneur, having founded Untaboo Education, a company dedicated to sex, sexuality, and safety education, which has touched the lives of more than 1 lakh children, parents, teachers, and schools across the country and impacting more every single day. Thank you so much, Anju, on board with us. We welcome you in our parent to
Thank you.
parent group. It's a pleasure to
Am
have
I,
you.
is
Yes,
my
you're
audio
very much
okay?
audible.
All right. Great.
Yeah,
Let's go for it.
absolutely. It is good. Yes. So before starting the conversation and taking up the question, just a very small question, which is like a curiosity to me. Why only this topic? Why the topic of sex education and not about the health of a child or relationship of a child with parents and child, bullying, peer pressures? Why not those topics and why particularly sex education?
So we all talk about those topics very openly, right? We speak about bullying, schools tackle it, parents tackle it. We speak about the health of a child, but nobody talks about sex education. It's such a taboo topic. And I grew up in Nagpur, and at that point of time, nobody was obviously talking about it. Even now, very few people are talking about it. But we didn't have sex education and got to know the facts of life pretty live. So when my son started asking me things, I was very sure I wanted to give him the right answers. And I started researching, and I was completely hooked to the subject. And I realized that there is so little information out there about it, and parents are so hesitant to talk about it. So I just decided to pick up the baton, and it has become a passion. It's been 10 years now, and I'm so glad I picked up this topic. And it's so heartening to see the change that you can bring in society because of it.
True, true. Thank you so much for taking this up because hardly people have those guts to touch the topic which has a lot of taboo into it. Company which says untaboo education.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
if you can share something about the untaboo education.
So yes, when I started, in fact, I named my company Out of the Box because it was a very out of the box topic. But slowly down the years, I realized that no, I can't call it out of the box because it has to be a mainstream topic. It's a life skill. It has to be a part of every child's life. The only thing that we need to do is, break the taboos which surround this topic. And that's how I think I came up with the name Untaboo. And I rebranded my company and named it Untaboo. So now, of course, Untaboo is, of course, it's a company completely dedicated to sex and safety education. And in fact, what you were speaking earlier about the fact that why didn't you pick up the topic of relationships? So
Yeah,
relationships is a part of sex education. Um,
wonderful.
and when we say sex education, and I always talk about it in a lot of my interviews and talks, is that sex education is misconstrued. Sex education does not mean a talk on sex with a child. So whether it is relationships, whether it is parent-child relationship, whether it's interpersonal relationship, whether it's safety, consent, body positivity, all those are also part of sex education. And
Wonderful.
Untaboo does this education in schools, out of schools. We have a play around it. We have a book around it. We do blogs, columns. So there's a lot of activity we do in the same space, trying to make people those taboos and to make it to a lot of people. We use a lot of mediums to promote sex education and to deliver sex education, of course.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a beautiful insight to untaboo education. So there is one Varsha Umalkar. She is asking, are we addressing age-specific concerns? So I think we are talking in general right now. Is that right, Anju?
Right. But yes, we're talking in general about sex education because most important is for us parents to, remove any ifs and buts that we have about sex education. Because only if we are clear that, yes, this is a subject I want to talk to my child about, I should be talking to my child about, will you be able to then go ahead and answer your child's queries? So I think this session is very important to remove those mind blocks that all of us have at some point about sex education. But yes, any specific query, happy to address it.
Wonderful. I'm sure we will be having many. So just to begin with the conversation, my first question to you is, what are the topics we should be having conversation with kids about?
Well, the list is absolutely endless. There are, I mean, if I go on talking, it will be a completely endless list of what all you can talk to your kids about. From to begin with, talk about, give them the correct body knowledge, the right terms for genitals, talk about privacy, talk about consent, body safety, body positivity, puberty, emotions, relationships, of course, the sexual act, reproduction, protection, gender sensitization, sexual orientation, porn, masturbation, rape, abuse, pregnancy, relationships, dating, rejections. It is an ongoing list. And everybody needs sex education, whether it is a child or whether it is you or me. All of us need sex education. I know a
Right.
lot of you may
So
be
when you
surprised
say
when
that,
I say that,
yes, they
but
are.
even the fact
So
that
when you
we
say,
have queries about menopause, that is also sex education. So that's how I say that all of us need sex education in our life and at every stage of our life.
that's right. So we should be comfortable, doing that. To which my next question is, when you say that we should be sitting with our kids and talking about all these aspects, when should a parent sit kids down for that all important birds and bees talk? So what is that particular age or time? What is it, and when is it?
Ideally, the talk should begin very early on when the child is 2 years, when you're teaching them that is the time to start those conversations. So earlier it used to be known as the birds and the bees conversation, and we would always shy away from using the word sex education. And it is okay if you're uncomfortable using that term, as long as you have the conversation. It does not matter what you are calling it. But ideally, don't make it a, okay, now sit down and I want to have this conversation with you. That puts the child on complete guard, takes the child on guard, and all those guards come down, and the child may not want to have those conversations. Make it an ongoing conversation. Look for opportunities in your daily life, and those opportunities are everywhere. Whether you're watching television and an ad for a sanitary napkin comes on, or you are outside. Recently, recently when I say, I mean before the lockdown, I was at the airport and there was this full, huge hoarding for a condom ad. That's an opportunity. You're waiting with your child, and it could be a teen, and just say, hey, do you see that ad for a condom? Do you know what a condom is? Start a conversation on it. You're seeing an intimate scene on television, start a conversation on that. So make it an ongoing conversation. It's not a one-time conversation.
Yeah, but there's one question there. When you say, when you see such ads everywhere around, when your kids or family are sitting together and watching television and such ads come, how to start a
Right.
conversation? What ease can be there? What terminology should be used there to make the conversation begin?
See, obviously, if you've never had conversation on these topics and suddenly an ad for a condom comes on and you tell your child, hey, you know what, let's have a conversation, the child is going to get startled and the child may reject it. So obviously, first have conversations on little non-threatening topics. You could talk about puberty, you could talk about safety, you could talk about the changes, you can talk about crushes, talk about your crush, share your crushes with your child. So start with those topics and then move on to the larger topics of probably the sexual act or, condoms or rape or those kind of things. And like you were
So for
asking,
that,
how
I
do
think,
we start?
yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm just answering your question of how do you start. So if you see an ad for a sanitary napkin, just casually. And if you're watching a show, it starts, you say, okay, let's pick this conversation after the show. Ask him, do you know what these pads are for? And they are for something, a process which a girls go through, which is periods. Talk about periods. Maybe if you have a pad, get up and show your child, whether a boy or a girl, show them a pad. Have those conversations around. It is just that matter of getting over that awkwardness once you break that barrier, it just gets easier.
Okay. Good, got it. So Payal Kumari is asked what is the session about and for which age group kids. So this session is basically only for parents and not for the kids. We are discussing about sex education where parents can break the wall and discuss these topics with kids with total ease. So Anjukesh is the sexuality educator with us here and she's talking on those topics and how to bring in ease in the conversation. That, my next question is, when you said that we should be talking about all these birds and bees, what we used to call them earlier, to our kid, so is there
Right.
a negative impact on having these conversations with kids? Any impact which will leave a negative note on a child's mind?
I don't think there's a negative impact of you having the conversation, but there's definitely a negative impact if you don't have those conversations. Like I was saying earlier, most of us have grown up without any sex education and we feel, what's the big deal? We did fine. We didn't have any negative impact in our life for lack of sex education. So these kids will also be fine. They'll also learn on their own. But today, I don't think we should compare. The times we grew up in and the times these kids are growing up in are completely different. Their exposure is completely different to our exposure. Earlier, if we didn't have, any answers, we would probably ask a friend or a cousin. But now the internet is there to give those kids an answer, and an answer which is probably very age inappropriate. So we have to be very careful, what the internet tells them. Of course, the kids have exposure to, they're watching shows on Netflix like Game of Thrones, where there's so much of nudity involved, much of sexual violence, incest. How do you think a child is processing all that if you're not having conversations with them? So there is a lot of negative implications if you don't have those conversations with them today.
So how will we as a parent come to know that, whatever we are talking to a child is going to leave a positive impact, and a conversation, what we are doing is, a child is receiving that conversation to increase his or her knowledge in that particular aspect. As a parent, what should we do at that time?
I think as a parent, you don't have control on how your child is going to react or how your child is going to behave with or without a conversation. But with a conversation, what happens is you're telling the child, you're actually helping them filter out the fact from fiction. What they're watching, for example, in a porn film, what they're seeing in a porn movie is women being treated as sexual objects or, the picture perfect bodies. So by you having conversation, you're trying to tell them that what you're seeing there is not the reality. That's not how women are supposed to be treated. So you're helping them process what they are seeing. While talking to them, you're also getting an idea of what they need. And then you are then trying to pass on a little bit of your value. Of course, how they behave after that is completely up to them. But even if you think back to the times when your parents spoke to you, probably at that time you rejected what they said, but later on, when you were faced with the situation, those words kept coming back to you. So it is just that you are a voice, in the head of that child. When you're talking, they may be that voice will niggle at them when they're faced with the situation. And
So
that's
it's
all
like
you can do as
hammering
parents.
continuously. Yeah, got your
Absolutely.
point there. And I have, many questions related to that. I will be coming to the questions what people are, posting in the comment section. So,
Sure.
a very simple question for the new parents or the parents whose kids are at the age of 6 years and 7 years. When do kids start
Right.
becoming curious about their bodies?
Well, start becoming curious about their bodies very early on. And when I say curious, you would have seen probably even little babies, you'll see those little babies, a few months old, they're lying down and they pick up their feet and they keep staring at their foot or they keep staring at their palm and completely fascinated. They are discovering
Right.
their bodies. You would see probably male babies, holding on to their genitals, holding on to their penis and just continuously playing with them. Now, this is non-sexual curiosity that child has. The sexual curiosity of a body actually begins at puberty because that's when the sex hormones start getting released. Puberty, there is a natural curiosity about bodies, their bodies and the bodies of others. And that's when you'll actually see kids playing the doctor game.
True.
So now the doctor game is nothing but the child wanting to satisfy their curiosity about the bodies of others. Checking out whether their body is similar to theirs, whether the body is different from theirs. So that is what the doctor game actually is. But unfortunately, today, the kids don't play doctor. They just go to the internet and type naked bodies. And
That's
then a
scary.
Pandora's box opens. It is scary. We've had
Yeah.
parents with kids as young as 7 years old call us that, oh my God, I give my phone to my child for some time to watch, or play a game. And suddenly on my phone, I've seen this list of, things that child has typed naked boy or naked girl. Now, once a child types that, obviously the internet is going to show them tons of naked bodies and not just show naked bodies. Right next to it would be those pop-up ads telling them to see, do you want to see, a sex act or do you want to see porn? And the child will keep clicking and you don't know the world. Suddenly a new world opens up for the child.
And that's so much more
So,
fascinating for a
yeah,
child,
absolutely so much more fascinating. Yes, fascinating, scary, and it can have a negative impact on the child.
for sure.
Yeah.
So how to keep a track on that entire activity, what a child is doing, and at that point, when child is watching a porn, and a parent catch hold of a child at that time, how should a parent react, or what actions should be taken at that particular time?
So I think most importantly is as a parent, if you say catch your child watching, playing doctor, don't freak out. Don't freak out. Don't panic. Don't scold your child. Don't react negatively. Just divert their attention at that point of time and calmly put a stop to what they are doing at that point of time. Later on, sit your child down and speak to them about, and again, not in a way where you're making them feel guilty for playing that game, but just sit them down and have a conversation on privacy, have a conversation on about touching others body in a particular way or letting somebody else touch your body in that way. Have a conversation of that on that. Probably pick up a book, or go online, find child friendly images and information and take a child through a session on knowing the male and the female. Satisfy the curiosity in a very positive way. Probably even keep a watch on the next few times they are playing, have a supervised playtime. Even speak to the parent of the other child, and tell them how you have tackled it and encourage their child to that parent to tackle it in the same way. So deal with it very positively without pointing a finger, without making your child feel guilty. It's a normal curiosity. There is no sexualization of body parts at that age. That part is sexual for us adults. So we always think that it is sexual for the child. No, the child has no idea. It's just exploring
Yeah.
because that part is already covered. It is exploring that part of the body. So don't sexualize it for the child. Deal with it very, very calm.
Yeah, that's right. That's normal for them because they're exploring themselves. but we as parents, what
Absolutely.
we have experienced, when we were young, and how our parents used to behave. Like you said, the advertisement is coming on the television. Now is the time where parents and kids are sitting together and watching it. When we were kids, our
Right.
the television channel was switched, or television was switched off completely, when the ads were there. So as parents, maybe, we have no ease at, this point as well, how to deal with these things. So
Right.
we are happy that you are with us. We can, consult you and come to you anytime whenever we are facing such issues. But, now what you have advised us definitely is going to work for all of us. So with that, I'll move to my next question. Is it okay to use nicknames for our private parts? Because that is what we use
The short
with our
answer,
kids.
yeah,
Yes.
the short answer is no. Please don't use nicknames. Again, the nicknames. So why do we hesitate to teach them the correct terms for their genitalia? We teach them the correct names for all the body parts. We don't give nicknames to eyes, nose. We don't give nicknames to any of those parts. Why only the genitals? Again, because those parts are sexualized for us. They are not a sexual part for the child. So by giving them a different term, we are actually putting thoughts in their mind. And
True.
imagine when the child grows up, the child is not going to say, my nunu is paining or my BB is hurting. The child is, you can't imagine a 10 or 12 or 13-year-old to use those terms, but you've not equipped them with the right vocabulary. So the child is going to pick up slang words because then they are suddenly become cool. So imagine a child saying, I don't know, child saying dick or boobs or, of course, the more grosser Hindi words for it. And then
Yeah.
you as a parent will have a problem that why is my child using slang words? The child
True.
will use a slang word because you did not equip the child with that vocabulary. In fact, recently somebody was telling me about an incident where this little girl, 5-year-old girl, spoke to her teacher and said that Miss, my uncle wants to eat my cookie and I don't like it. So the
Oops.
teacher scolded her, that, yeah, of course, we've been teaching you that you should share your stuff. So why don't you want to share your cookie with the uncle? You must share your cookie with the uncle. Now, unknown to this teacher, the parents had taught this little girl that your genitals are called cookie.
Oh, that's
Now,
bad.
imagine the trauma that child would have gone through. So let's stop this. Let's call a spade by a spade. There's nothing wrong in that. You are, in fact, creating a lot of positivity when you're teaching your child the right terms for the genitals. And
Right.
I would also like to tell the parents here and adults here that don't label a child because a child is using the right term. It's very ironic that a child in public, when he or she says nunu or vivi, we find that very cute. But when that same child, when they say a vagina or a penis, we'll say, oh, what a corrupted child. No, the child is using the right terminology. Please applaud that child. Don't label.
So the basic point is to, let them know the actual names of the private parts as well,
Correct.
instead of giving them different
Absolutely.
names. Yeah,
In fact, when
perfect.
you
Thank you
do
so
that,
much for that.
you will not draw attention to those parts. When you give it pet names, you draw attention to those parts.
Yeah, that's true. That's a different perspective. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so there's one more question. Mm, to what extent can to teach sex education?
Parents, don't pass on your onus, your responsibility of teaching your children. Um, the schools have not taken on this onus too. At least a majority of the schools have not taken on this onus. That education is not available in all the schools. And it's ideally it should be part of the school curriculum, but unfortunately it is not part of the school curriculum as yet. So if you pass on the onus to the school thinking that, oh, it's the school responsibility, they will do it. And if they don't do it, does that mean you will never talk to your child about it? Yes, the ideal situation is when the schools take it on because then it would be a uniform education. In fact, we at Untaboo go to a lot of schools and we have curriculums from grade 1 to grade 12 and we do it in, have this curriculum in the school. But like I said, a majority of schools don't. So you as
Don't.
parents, please pick up that responsibility. Please pick up the onus of this education because this education begins at age 1.5, 2 years, when your child is not even in the school. So take on that, teach the child the right terms for the genitals, teach them the concept of privacy at that age before they even go to school. So don't pass on the
Wonderful. Thank
offense.
you. Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing that. And with my personal experience, we had a workshop with you in Nagpur where, my daughter and, my husband, they attended the workshop together. And till date, we thank you a lot for that workshop because it has bring in
Okay.
a lot of ease in the relations and related to that topic as well. Yeah. So thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for that.
And I think
Yeah.
I'll also like to state here that even if the school is having sex education program, that does not mean that you don't talk to them, because uh, there would be very open communication in school if the school is having a sex education curriculum. But when the child comes home and if the doors are closed, then it's a very dichotomy of a situation. For example, if the child is being told about periods in school and is being told that the myths associated with periods, that you cannot go to a temple, are all myths, you should not follow it. But in that child's home, if those myths are followed, if the girl having a periods is not allowed into the kitchen or the temple, the child is extremely confused that they're telling me something in school, but at my home these myths are followed. So very important to have conversations at home around it also. Tell them why it
Yeah.
is followed at home. Tell them that maybe you can bring that change at home. Open conversations at home. So even if it's being done in school, please follow it up with conversations at home.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that also. Now that you go to a lot of schools, you meet a lot of teachers and train or give these sessions in different schools across India, and you come across different school students as well. What is the acceptability of the entire topic in the society, basically the schools? How are they reacting to it? What is the percentage of schools who are willing to take such sessions in their schools?
The percentage is extremely low, unfortunately. There are lots of reasons for it. It's not just unacceptability by the school, it is also the fact that schools struggle for time to finish the academic calendar. And then to have this added responsibility of this one more thing. Sometimes they struggle with that. Sometimes cost is a factor. Sometimes the parents not accepting it is a factor for the schools. So there are various reasons why it is not being accepted. It would really, really help if the government makes it compulsory. It is part of the curriculum, because like earlier I was telling you that the birds and the bees conversation, you asked me whether it's a one-time talk. It's actually not a
Yeah.
one-time talk. It has to be a yearly intervention. You teach a child something one year and then you add on to that information next year. And then ideally it should be a 2-3 times intervention in a year. But even if you do it once a year, it's a great job done. So hopefully the government had introduced something. Unfortunately, it didn't work very well. But we are very hopeful that the government will pick it up again and make it compulsory in schools.
Yeah.
The
So,
parents also, of course, have. Yeah, so just
yes.
like schools, parents also have mind blocks. They also don't, they don't think it's a need. Um, they have questions like, will it put thoughts in the child's mind? Will it make the child experiment? Why should I start talking to
True.
the child when the child has not asked any questions? So they also have a lot of mind blocks, which I think, and that's why I'm here, hoping to break those mindsets of parents
Yeah,
and
because we
stress
have
upon
certain
the importance of
questions.
it.
Yeah, we have such questions in our comment box. So, is it okay if I start taking up those questions?
Absolutely. Please go for it.
Wonderful. So there is Sheetal Dhopte. She's saying, is there a thumb rule that mothers should talk to daughters and fathers to boys for their comfort zone?
Shita, that's a very good question. And I think we should not make it a gender based conversation. It's absolutely wonderful. And trust me on that, when you can sit on the dining table or anywhere in your house as a family and have these conversations. Your daughter should be very comfortable talking about periods with her dad as she is with you. Similarly, your son should be comfortable talking about erections, wet dreams with you as he's with the dad. So don't make it a conversation where you talk to the daughter and your husband talks to the son. Make it a family conversation. And it's great if you have kids, they get comfortable with puberty or others, they get to see the other perspective. So open those conversations, you will see a wonderful change in the relationship at home.
Yeah, and trust me, this happens because I have experienced that thing. There is a lot of ease in the communication regarding to this particular topic in my house. So moving on to the next one, Shweta Kumar, she says, Andrew, you are great. You changed my equation with my son after reading your book. Your book, How I Got My Belly Button. So there's what she's saying. And she said that she has posted a question. Um, Varsha Umarkar is asking, are we oversensitizing kids through sex education?
Thank you, Shweta, for reading my book, and I'm happy it brought about the change in your life. Thank you for that. Now, coming to the question of are we oversensitizing? So I don't really get what you mean by oversensitizing our kids. If you're saying that are we giving them information much ahead of times, if that's what you mean, then I don't think so. The kids today, things like puberty is also happening much earlier. The kids' exposure today, kids as young as 8 ask you what is rape because they're
Yeah,
reading headlines in
a
newspapers, they're
lot.
seeing it in the news a lot. So the exposure is already there. The kids are already sensitized to those information or have access to that information, so to say. So it's better you give them that information in a very age appropriate manner rather than they go to the internet, type what is rape or what is condom and get something completely different.
Different.
So never hesitate to talk to a child, even if it's a child as young as 6 is asking you something which you feel is very age inappropriate, but you can give an age appropriate answer to that child on that topic. So
Wonderful.
just be
So
ready.
yeah, on the same thing, when a child is asking a question to a parent, whether it's a mother or a father, if we there, what to say or how to answer, what should we do at that time?
I think as parents, if we can all, have a pledge, promise ourselves that come what may, I will be an askable parent. I will always answer my child's questions no matter what my child asks. I think if you can do that, it's half the battle won. Because now, when the child comes to you with a question and you don't know how to answer that, you will say, okay, I have promised myself that I'm going to give an answer to all my child's queries. How best can I answer my child? Be honest and tell the child that, hey, you know what? I don't know how to answer this question. Give me some time and I will come back and answer that question. Go up, read up. There are a lot of resources available and you will be able to find how to answer this question in the age bracket of whatever age your child is at, how best you can answer that question. So make that promise to yourself and you will be able to trust me on that.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Shweta Kumar has asked one question, I think, which you've already answered, but still we can take it up. She's asking, what about when they Google naked body and all that stuff? What if it all comes up? So I think you've answered, but if you want to put a little bit more light on that one.
Sure, if it comes up, they see naked bodies, then it's extremely important you sit down and have that conversation with the child. Talk about privacy, talk also about the fact that it is illegal, it is against the law to actually have those images online and to even see those images. And so talk about the law, talk about the fact that when you see this, you keep thinking about it, but this is a natural thing. This is how a boy's body look, this is how a girl's bodies look. And there are some people who do unknowingly purposely click somebody's pictures, naked pictures, and put it online. Would you like it if your pictures were put online? So sensitize the child accordingly, talk to them about that bit, but definitely have conversations around.
Okay, great. So there's one more question. Neetu Vadhwani Rugwani has asked this one, and she's asking, won't talking to them at teenage make them more inquisitive to explore things too early?
We get this question all the time, that will talking to my child put thoughts in their minds which are not there? Will talking to my child make them experiment? Would talking to my child be construed as permission now to experiment? But the thing is that whether you talk to them or you don't talk to them, they are going to learn. Whether today or 1 year down the line, they're definitely going to learn. And they're going to learn earlier than you think they're going to learn. Today, the statistics say that the average age with a child in India watches porn is 11. The average age with a child in India experiments with sex is 14. If you go to Gynax, they'll tell you that girls as young as 9th graders are coming to them with STIs and pregnancies. So the situation is very scary out there. We parents are actually wearing blinders. We are not aware of what the true situation We actually, we are in denial. We feel that not our child is different. But if you look at controversies all around, you look at incidents, whether it is the boys' locker room or any other incident, these are kids like yours and mine who are part of this. And I'm sure even their parents never expected that they'd be part of something like this. It is just the exposure and it is just the curiosity and it is just the silence on the subject which is leading them to do all of this. So, very, very important you talk to them before anything like this happens. And trust me, it's not about the fact that if you talk to them, they will experiment. No, in fact, they will become more responsible. And all research worldwide says that the earlier you speak to the child in a positive manner and give them sex education, that child will delay experimentation and that child will be very responsible and respectful whenever they experiment. So never
True.
fear that.
True, true. Thank you for, saying that thing. One more thing, you just said, something about boys' locker room. So that thing is, quite up nowadays and people are talking about it. What's the psyche behind that, of the kids at that age? What is the psyche, what they're playing with, and, what fun are they getting out of it? Can you just put some light on that?
See, there's a lot of objectification, that sexual objectification that we have in the society today. Women are used to advertise not only women products, but products, which are unrelated to them,
True.
but in a very
Yeah.
sexualized manner. So the objectification is very strong in society. And it is, if I would say, we've grown up in a very misogynist society where there is a whole lot of things around women. So the child is growing up with those messages. If the child is watching porn, they are growing up with those messages that woman is a sexual object. So there's a whole lot of that objectification over there. There's a whole lot of toxic masculinity that children are growing up with in their families. So all of
Yeah.
this does sometimes lead them to, pass those very sexist comments or take pictures of women and mock them and do all of that. Plus, also, in fact, I would like to ask a question to the parents here. That even
Yeah.
when you take a child, you want to take a child to the swimming pool without first teaching them swimming, you don't let them go into the deep. So when your child is hitting teenagehood, why are you teaching them how to be safe? Why aren't you teaching them appropriate online behavior or offline behavior before letting them enter teenagehood? Take on that onus. I mean, it's not about a blame game and blaming the school or blaming the upbringing, but you as a parent should be teaching them those skills. So again, like I said, it's exposure and silence on the subject, which is leading the kids to do all of these things. We
So
have
I think
to have sex education.
yeah, it ultimately comes down to parents, how they are educating their kids on this topic. So there's
Yeah, it's not
one
about
more question.
upbringing. There's a difference. Huh? It's not about upbringing. It's not pointing a finger at the upbringing of the parent. I
No,
think
no,
that's a
it's
very
not
wrong
how
thing.
they are. No,
Yeah,
no, it's about
absolutely. Whether
how
you're
they are
having a
educating their
conversation.
child. Yes, got it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is one Shabi Charasia. She is a principal here in one of the schools, and she's asking, how does a teacher bring up this topic in a class in co-ed school?
So in fact, we do this in schools. We do it in co-ed schools also. We recommend that till a certain age, till they are like, especially if you're having a chat on puberty with them, the first talk on puberty, actually, ideal situation is when you talk to the girls separately and you talk. But that does not mean that you don't talk to the girls about the boy changes or you don't talk to the boys about the girl changes. You have to tell them about each other's changes. But the reason we say do it separately, because there are a lot of personal questions which may come up in the first time that you're talking to them about puberty. After that, it's a great idea to have combined sessions. And trust me, the children are so open about having these conversations. Again, the hesitations are in our mind that, oh, will a boy and a girl be comfortable talking about these topics? Within themselves, they're extremely comfortable. In fact, we've seen in schools when we see these boys and girls interact with each other, the girls so openly talk to the boys, ninth standard girls talking so openly with the boys about periods, talking about the fact that, hey, I got my periods today, just carry my bag for me, or I'm cramping up, what, will you do this for me? So they very openly talk. So I don't think we adults should hesitate. In fact, it's very, very healthy to have conversations with both genders together.
Wonderful. I hope,
And as a teacher,
Shavi got her
yeah,
answer.
yeah. Also, I think I would also like to, as it's a question is specifically about teachers, I think it's very important as a teacher not to get thrown by questions they ask. When they ask you questions on sex education, the first thing they try to do is unnerve you. So they will ask you shocking questions just to unnerve you because they love seeing you thrown off balance. So if you are a sex
Ah,
educator and if you're a teacher, the first thing is to ensure that you have a very neutral expression and you don't appear shocked by their questions and you don't judge them for what they're asking. Once you do that, you'll be amazed at how wonderfully open they will be with you.
great, wonderful. I think that soon we will be having you in one of our schools here. So the question from Shweta here is, my son is 13 and a half. Last year we read your book. It helped me a lot. Since lockdown, he is more on laptop and phone. Recently, I found he is searching kiss, sex on Google. How to discuss what is right to watch and what is not?
See, your child is 13, so obviously it's in the middle of puberty, completely in the adolescent age. And when the child starts puberty, their sex hormones start being produced. When sex hormones start being produced, the sexual feelings begin. So earlier, probably if a child is watching an intimate scene, they're watching it out of curiosity, is fascinated, but nothing is happening to their body. But now at puberty, when they start watching an intimate scene, they start feeling tingling sensations in their body. They actually start getting the sexual feelings. So it's very, very, his curiosity is very normal, might be looking for sex, might be looking for kissing, might be looking for other things on the internet. That curiosity is very normal. So again, you need to have conversations. You need to have conversations about the fact that you understand what he is going through. Have that conversation that I understand. It's very normal to have those feelings. It's very normal to want to see some visuals, and have those kind of feelings. But also remember that it is illegal. If you watch anything, any of these kind of visuals, it is illegal. You can get into trouble, and as your parents can get into trouble. This is also a great time, and a lot of parents might not be shocked if I say this, but I think it's important to say this, that at this age, at 13, it's very important to talk to them about masturbation. Masturbation is a great way to help them release their sexual energy, and there's nothing wrong. In fact, it's a very healthy way to help them release their sexual energy. So that is a conversation you can have with your child about.
Okay, wonderful. So there are so many questions. I'll not take, sub questions after that. So the next question is by Fatima. She's asking, how do we talk about sexual act to them? I mean, how to explain it to them after the ice is broken?
Like I said, if you have decided that you're going to be an askable parent, no question is going to be difficult for you. Begin first, of course, by talking about puberty in the bodies. Begin about talking about the difference in the male and the female's bodies. Begin about talk about love, talk about different kinds of relationships, and then move on to the sexual act. And once you've had this conversation, explaining sexual act is not going to be difficult. In fact, in my book, it's explained very simply, which even you can talk about to a 10-year-old about the sexual act. It's been explained very simply. You can look up how I got my belly button. And of course, there are lots of other resources also which you can use. Today, if I tell you how to talk to your child about the sexual act, tomorrow the child will have a question on how to talk, what is rape or what is a condom or what is sexual abuse or some other topic. The thing is, you can't depend on others to give you an answer all the time. You have to up your this thing of how can I talk to my child, and that's the reason I say that make that promise. I will be an askable parent, and you will do your research. You'll go online, you'll search out, you'll buy books, and you'll read and say, okay, how can I tell my child about the sexual act? So do.
Oh, wonderful. So I think, they got their answer. There is one query. They are asking if you have any programs, training programs for teachers.
Yes, we have training programs for teachers also. We have training programs, of course, for children from grade 1 to grade 12. We also do private sessions. We also do programs for parents and for teachers and also for the non-teaching staff. We believe that the entire environment of the child should have information. We do awareness talks and we also do train the teacher talks. Yes.
Great.
So
So
you can
there's
reach
one
out to
question
us
by.
at
Great. Sorry to cut you in between because there's a lack in net, I think. The next question is by Urvi Verma. She is asking, what is the best resource that you recommend to sexually educate a nearing 9-girl child? She's about to be 9.
I'm going to market my book here, and I'm really not saying it because it's a book I've written.
It's
but
beautiful.
It is, I think it's it's a work of love and labor. This book of mine, How I Got My Belly Button. It's been done after years of research, not just research. It's been done by after I've conducted 8 years of children. So I've spoken to more than 1 lakh children, and it's a result of that. It's very child friendly. In fact, it won the Best Children's Book of the Year award this year. So I would highly recommend. I would highly recommend that you pick it up. In fact, currently I believe I've been told that it's available for just 46 rupees, the e-version. So I think they're just trying to propagate it in this lockdown period. So get the e-version and you as a parent read it. Even if you feel that, okay, I don't want to read it to my child, though there's nothing wrong in reading it to the child, you read it and use that language to then talk to your child about it.
Wonderful. And trust me, that's a very good book. It is a very educative book for a parent and a child both. And thank you for, giving us that book, Anju.
Thank you. I also write on a lot of topics at anjukeshblogs.com. You can get some stuff from there and talk to your child. I also write for Tweak India. So you can pick up articles of mine from there, and those will really help you in talking to your child.
Wonderful.
In fact, if I may, Jyoti, talk about the fact that we are currently doing online workshops. So people from all over India, anywhere can join in for those workshops. They are workshops for 9 to 12-year-old girls. They are workshops for 13 to 15-year-old kids. And so they can log on to our website or follow us on Facebook at untaboo, and they will get information about all these workshops, which we do online now.
And I'm vouching for these workshops. They're really quite impactful because I did that. I attended that one with my, husband and my daughter. My sister recently did that one with you, and there are a number of, family and friends who are willing to do that again. So I think I'll take this one last question because we are running out of time. So this question is by Meetu. She's asking, my daughter is 14. Should I talk to her as to how pregnancy happened? If yes, how to start with it?
Absolutely. At 14, a child definitely needs to know not just about the sexual act. And if you're talking to them about the sexual act, they need to know about pregnancy. They need to know about sexually transmitted diseases. This is very, very important conversation to have with them. In fact, at this age, the maximum questions we get by kids of 14 and 15 is on pregnancy, it's on abortions, and it's on emergency pills. So the questions and the concerns are in their mind. So very important that you talk to them about it. And again, when you talk to them about pregnancy, don't make it a lecture. Don't say that, if you experiment, see, this is what happens. The teenage, you get pregnant and then your whole life is spoiled. Don't use those kind of tones or, the judgmental kind of attitude. Tell them just the facts that this is what the sexual act is, and if no protection is used, this is what it leads to. Of course, it can alter your life if teenage girl gets pregnant. Have conversations on that around it. Talk about somebody who had it. Ask her to share some information she may have about somebody who's got pregnant. Talk about sexually transmitted diseases. So make it just a discussion like any other subject. And once you have that conversation, you'll realize how easy it is to talk about other larger subjects also with them. Because going forward, after 14, there are tons of topics you need to be talking to them about. Yeah.
True. So I'll take, there's one more question. I think I'll take that up. How to sex educate an adult who is into watching porn? So now that's a different question altogether.
So, porn watching is can be addictive, and it is said. In fact, a research was done on the brain of somebody who was addicted to porn and somebody who was addicted to drugs, and they found the same changes in both the brains. So, the impact of porn addiction is similar to the impact of drug addiction and requires at times an expert intervention to get that person de-addicted from porn. And it's very important that yes, you seek help if you feel somebody is addicted to porn, whether it is a child, teenager, or an adult, because it does have a lot of impacts not just on that individuals but on that individual's relationships. So do seek
Okay.
help if you feel yeah, it's an addiction.
Great, great. So again, one more because questions are, coming up again. Many of them are posting questions now. So this one question is by
Sure.
Mehek Chawla. She is asking, does your book talk about how to speak with a 12-year-old son about masturbation?
I think I have mentioned masturbation there very briefly. I'm trying to recall whether have I written about that. I think I have mentioned masturbation. I'm not very sure actually. But if I have
So
not,
maybe if you,
even if I have
yeah.
not, I would say that when you're talking to your child about masturbation, and remember the child already knows about masturbation. They may not know the term masturbation, but they might know that when they touch their genitals, they feel good about it, and they might be constantly touching their genitals about also. So they know about the concept. So talk to them in that manner. Talk to them about the fact that when you touch your genitals, sometimes you may feel that you like the feeling, and it is okay at times to do that, but always remember that never do it in public or never when people are around you. It always has to be done in private. Ensure that you maintain hygiene, you wash your hands before and after, and don't do it so often that your mind is diverted from your other activities, whether it is studying or sports. But other than that, once in a while doing that, touching yourself and feeling good, it is okay. So I think as long as you pass that message to a 12-year-old, it is okay. A year later, you can maybe pick up a more detailed discussion on masturbation.
Wonderful. Thanks for that answer. And I think, there was one question related to bedwetting. I'm not finding that question right now, but it was something related to bedwetting and how to get, how to correct kids on that particular area.
So bedwetting
Anything
is
which you
more
can,
a
put.
medical question. Um, so there could be some medical problems. It could be stress related. It could be some concern the child has about it. But that is not in the scope of my work. Probably a counselor or a doctor would be more able to help you on bedwetting.
Okay, wonderful. So I think, questions will keep coming. Uh, I would request everyone to go to Untaboo site, which is www.untaboo.in. So am I right, Anju here? Yeah. So you can go to
Absolutely.
this site and get a lot of information regarding workshops and the details of the book and what all Anju's blogs as well there. So Anju, if you would like to tell something about your online workshops, what these workshops are about, how they are done, and what is the duration of the workshop and who all can attend it.
Right. So we have workshops, like I said, for different age categories. The workshop scheduled for tomorrow. In fact, what we have is for 13 to 15 years old. It's called the Art Workshop, Aware and Responsible Kids Workshop. They are done online, first with the child for 3 hours, spread over 2 days, and then a combined session with the parent and child. So if you go to our Facebook page, untaboo, you will get information about these workshops over there. Happy to, there are numbers there. You can reach out to us. Happy to take you through, the details of what the topics. In fact, the topics are mentioned in the post also on our Facebook page. And of course, we have puberty workshops for 9 to 12-year-olds. We have workshops to 16 to 18-year-olds. We have workshops for 18 years old who are ready to move to university. So we have sexual literacy workshops for 18-year-olds also.
Wonderful.
Tons
So
of them. Follow us on Facebook. We keep getting information about the work that we do. Yes.
yeah, great. So, before, getting off, I'll up. It is by Manisha Kapoor, and she is asking, how can we explain to a child what's a healthy limit and when it's getting addictive?
Healthy limit for what?
Yeah, Manisha, if you can, put in, in the comment box again, healthy limit related to what? Is it the addiction related to the gadgets or their health or what? We need that particular term. Till the time Manisha is, coming up with more details into her question. So, like you said that you have a lot of workshops coming for the kids. Where do you say about 9-year-old? Is 9 the correct age for a child to understand and know more about puberty? A lot of parents, hesitate sending their kids to such workshops at such a small age.
Well, puberty is starting as early as 8 today, and you should talk about puberty to a child before the child hits puberty. So we start at 9, and that is actually the perfect age to talk about puberty. And when we talk about puberty, we're not talking about any sexual talk with the child. It is purely puberty about the changes that will come in their body. So even when we're talking about periods to a girl or a boy for that matter, we're not explaining it using the fact that the sperm and the egg will not fertilize, and that's why the lining will shed. We have a very cute story we create around the entire thing. It's a very child friendly, age appropriate, designed by experts module that we have for that age. And if you actually read the reviews, we have some amazing reviews by parents and children about how wonderful it's actually changed their lives for their children and for them. And it's done in a very fun way, very light-hearted way, so the children understand and retain what they have learned. And you'll find that your
Wonderful. And I
children
think
settle
that's the
down so
best.
beautifully.
Yeah, so it's always, best for a parent to address such issues themselves instead of a child going to his or her own friend and asking, this is happening to me, is the same thing happening to you? What are you doing? And, coming from suggestions and ideas from their side, it can be harmful.
And they also get scared. My friend told me that when you hit puberty, you'll get pimples all over your face, and I don't want pimples. So we had to calm her down and say that it is one of the changes which happens. It doesn't happen to everybody. Everybody is different. You cannot compare. Everybody will grow at their own rate. You will not get puberty when your friends get it. You will not get a pimple if your friend gets it. So there's a whole lot of positivity which is generated through these sessions.
True, true. So coming back to Manisha's question, she has asked how can we explain to a child what's the healthy limit and when it's getting addictive, and this is related to masturbation or watching porn.
Well, you never tell a child that the healthy limit for watching porn is this thing. You actually discourage watching porn completely. That does not mean that you take away his laptop or take away his phone. You cannot do that. But again, it has to be done through conversations, like I mentioned earlier, conversations about the negative impact of watching porn, about what is real, what is real, so to say, and also about the legality of watching porn. So you have those conversations with them. But about masturbation, um, there's no harm even if a child actually masturbates 3 or 4 times a day also. They say there's no harm in that. But yes, it should not be that it is so addictive that I cannot sleep if I don't masturbate, or I cannot study if I don't masturbate. It should not be that addictive. But other than that, even daily masturbation has no negative health impact. If you masturbate, your sperms will get over, you will not be able to father a child. Those are just myths. It's a great, healthy way to help them expel their sexual energy. Yeah.
Great. So you just mentioned something about your workshop, which is named as ART, A-R-T. Is it for
That's
girls
right.
and boys put together, or is it only for girls or only for boys?
So we do both sessions. We do mixed gender sessions as well as we do gender specific sessions also. So currently what we have tomorrow is a separate session for girls, 13 to 15-year-old, and a separate session for boys.
Great. So how can people find
So we
about
have,
these sessions? Any links or where they can,
so
get the information around?
yeah, they can go to our Facebook page called Untaboo, and over there they will see a post on it, and there will be a number on it. They can call that number
Wonderful.
and
So
they'll
I
get all
think,
information.
This is related to, what you have said about the kids till the age group of 15, 16, maybe 15. Do you have any workshops or any sessions which is for the age from going from 17, 18 till 21, 22, 23 maybe?
Yes. Yes, we do. Those workshops are called Let's Talk. And like I was telling you some time back, that we're doing, especially in this time, we've been doing a lot of workshops on sexual literacy for 18-year-olds. And there are special workshops for children who are planning to, fly to another country or another city for their university education. So those workshops are specific to them. But besides that, we generally have the complete session on Let's Talk Sex, Sexuality, Safety for 18 to 21-year-olds.
Okay. So do we have such
And
workshops online as well, or these are just one-to-one workshops?
no,
Or
they are
maybe,
not
the
one-to-one
physical
workshops. And
workshops?
we don't recommend one-to-one workshops. These workshops work very well in groups because there has to be a lot of interactions, discussions. It's not just a lecture-based thing. There have to be discussions on this. Of course, we have these offline, but currently everything is online. So we hopefully should be scheduling one of these workshops online. We have been scheduling different workshops, maybe sometime in June, and we'd be very happy if we receive inquiries from people for this age group workshop. We'll be very happy to schedule one for them.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Anju, for all the information. To all the parents present here, I would definitely recommend go and get your hands on How I Get My Belly Button for their younger kids. And for the kids who are about to hit their puberty age, definitely go and attend or enroll for these workshops. They're really amazing ones. Uh, Anju, is it okay if I just take one last question because it's quite big one and she needs some clarity on this one?
Sure, I think let's make it a last one. I
Last
have
one,
actually
yes,
another
of course,
Facebook
yes,
Live in half
yeah.
an hour. Yeah,
Okay, I'll just take this question, and this is honestly is going to be the last one. So this question is,
sure.
kids have a smartphone and all are too curious to explore things. Stopping them will make them all the more curious. Can they stop watching porn altogether? Is that possible? If they don't watch, what is the way for them to let out their desires and feelings?
So you cannot stop them from watching. I always say that don't ban anything. Anything that you ban, they will do more. So don't ban, educate them. And when I say educate, again, it is have those conversations with them. Have them process what they are seeing. Talk to them that absolutely understand why you're watching porn, that curiosity is there. And also a lot of growing up kids at that age use porn to mask. And actually, if they watch once in a while, it's actually okay and you cannot even prevent it. But again, the conversation is that so that they don't go and watch hardcore porn. And when I say hardcore, there's a very scary research which was done in India which says that about 80% of college kids admitted to watching porn. Out of that, 40% said that they watch rape porn. Now, rape porn
Oops.
is actual rape videos, and actual rape videos are available. And when out of the who said they watch rape porn, about 60% of them said that when they watch those rape porn videos, they feel like raping a woman. So the impact of those porn is like I said, a lot of kids use it for masturbation. So obviously it creates feelings in them, right? But if they're watching rape porn and if they feel like raping a woman, that's a very, very scary thought, correct?
It is.
So yes. So but the question is, how do you stop them from watching it? Even
Yeah.
if they know, even adults know, right? Even adults know the fact that watching porn can have impact. But how many adults stop watching porn? A
Right.
lot of time they cannot have a relationship with their partner. They cannot get aroused without watching porn. Now that is a negative impact, right? That the partner doesn't arouse them, but porn arouses them to then have a relationship with their partner. That is a negative impact of watching porn. So I guess it is just conversations on these topics, conversations about what impact. In fact, you can go online, look for a study. There's a study being done on porn where it talks about 4 levels of addiction. So when you start watching porn, you're at first level, and how you can move to the fourth level and what happens when you move to that fourth level of addiction. Maybe make your child read that. So those are the conversations, talks, open those conversations with them. And in spite of that, if they watch, at least they're watching with an informed mind. They are watching aware of the fact that what they are watching can be addictive and I need to be careful. That's all you can do as a parent. Beyond that, you can't tie
Wonderful.
them and keep them, yeah.
Yeah. So the bottom line is to educate your child at every step where they are going, and the
Yes,
combination of teachers and parents put together is going to give them a clear and easy way out from the inner confusion, whatever they are facing.
right.
So, yeah, thank you, Anju. Thank you so much for, being here. We all, got a lot of information out of this entire conversation. Definitely, people will be enrolling for your workshops because everyone needs more clarity on this and everyone wants to have ease in communication regarding this particular topic. And I hope the parents who have attended the session with us will not take this topic as a taboo one now. So this is going to be the untaboo thing what we did. So I think we have
Thank
solved the
you.
purpose of breaking the silence and creating something new out of this. I thank you on behalf of Parent to Parent Group. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Jyoti, for having me. Thank you for all of you for attending this and open conversations and help raise a responsible generation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.